What's here, y'all? Welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, Triple Crown Trail is over. The second half of the 3-year-old season is upon us, and it's led off by a perennial favorite at Monmouth Park, the Haskell. It's a Grade 1, 12th race on Saturday's card, running a mile and an eighth for the 3-year-olds. And I like this field. This is a pretty good field, I would say. We're going to go through them one at a time. You look at the race shape and you see it's pretty, excuse me, pretty form fitting. I mean, we do have some early speed. We've got some pressers and we've got some mid pack to late runners. I don't know that we have any true closers in here. We'll see what Burnham Square does. But Bracket Buster is one certainly on the rise. Had a nice win last time, but let's remember it was an uncontested lead in the slop. And I mean, if he didn't win it, that would really be the issue. I mean, he didn't have anybody bothering him whatsoever, and it was an uncontested lead. Now, is it possible that he will get to the lead fairly comfortable here? Yeah. I don't expect Wild and Crazy Knight's going to give him a whole lot of problems. I mean, my God, he beat him by 7 lengths last time, and Wild and Crazy Knight certainly just isn't good enough in comparison to the rest of this field. But looking at it, what I would say is that there's a couple things that I don't like. Is number one, when you win that easily, now stepping up in class into Grade 1 company, that's the first problem. And the second problem is he just did it so easily without contest. And I never like betting a horse back who does that. It's very rare. A lot of times you'll see that on the Derby Trail with maidens who, win by open lengths or comfortably, and they step up into graded stakes and it doesn't work. It doesn't happen. And I think Patch Adams was a great example of that this year. So, Bracket Buster, getting the career high in a race that was pretty much tailor made for a front runner with a little bit of lick, and coming into this field against this depth of quality, I can't see it. So I'm going to let him go. While he will be the pace factor without a doubt, I think he's got a little too much firepower he's got to deal with, and I'm thinking he's likely to regress after his last start. Wild and Crazy Night just isn't good enough. That's it. So pass. National Law, it is a little intriguing. Now, I don't think the big issue is this horse isn't fast enough. But he's shown little hints here and there that there is some talent. It probably may not surface until later in the year. But there's a little bit of talent here. I think he'd have to run a huge race in order to get into the money. He may be able to do it. I'm not going to throw it past him. I don't think he's necessarily going to be a pace presser. I got a feeling they'll take him back out of trouble and he'll make one run. That's kind of what he looks like to me. 20 to 1's a pretty good price. To me, the bottom of the super looks most realistic, and I'm not going to use him as one of my primary wagering choices, but I could definitely see him underneath in maybe the try and more than likely the super. Gosger, for Brendan Walsh, ran a monster in the Preakness. I mean, he just ran a monster race, but he didn't win. Okay, and that same horse is right back here. Couple things about it that, this horse won the Lexington. The Lexington was a lousy race. There was not a good field whatsoever. So that gave me some pause when it came to Gosger going into the Preakness. I had a feeling he might improve, and he certainly did. I mean, he ran a big race, and but for journalism, he wins comfortably. But he didn't win. And we all know the story. We've all watched it a few times. I went back and rewatched it just to get a feel. What I'm concerned about is that maybe when you run that kind of monster race, it's the next start that you kind of have to be concerned about. And that's where I find myself with Gosger here. I think this is a horse that is better than I thought he was, admittedly. I think has some promise. But I just have a feeling that after that big effort in the Preakness, there's only one way to go, and so I can't. I think you on talent alone. I mean, I think Gosger can hang around in this race, but I can't like him in the top two positions. I think the try is more likely, or even the bottom of the super. And to be honest, um, it's it's iffy with me in the try. I think he's I it's just really hard for me to get a gauge on it. But I have a feeling he's going to regress, and I'm going to throw him in the mix because I think he's better than even if he regresses and runs an okay race. He's probably better than most of the horses in here. And so, for that reason, I'm going to throw him in the mix, but not confident about it, be honest. Kentucky Outlaw is a pretty good price, and this horse is another one that, kind of like National Law, has a little bit of talent, but is very hard to trust. This horse is green, does a lot of funky things in races, pulls, starts slow. That's a horse who's still getting it. I think this is a horse probably later in the year. You go over to Churchill Downs in that fall meet, and then Kentucky Outlaw might be a horse you get interested in. He's over his head here, but can he still get underneath in the exotics? Yes, I think so. I would have him pegged more for the bottom of the super, but can he get into the trifecta? I think he can, and 15-1 is a pretty good price. So if you were thinking about an overlay, somebody to use in here, I'd probably. Kentucky Outlaw probably makes the most sense, but as far as a win candidate, no, don't think so. Goal oriented, well, we all know what happened in the Preakness, right? I mean, he, had all kinds of problems and still managed to hang on for fourth. What, it, you know, this is a horse who certainly has talent. I don't doubt that at all. And, if I have to look for a horse to finish second to journalism, I'm much more inclined to think about goal oriented than I am anybody else. And the reason being is that I didn't think he ran badly in the Preakness at all. Obviously, when you get bullied by journalism like he did in the stretch, and, he lost all momentum, he wasn't going to be able to keep on. I kind of have a feeling had he kept on, he certainly would have got third, I think. I don't think he was going to catch Gosger. But the point of the matter is that he continues to step up in class and continues to run well. Now you couple that with the old expression that we used to use, Baffert with a bullet. He's got 3 bullet works in a row, all at 5 furlongs, all at 58. This horse is primed and ready to roll. He's had a little bit of a freshening. And I like him a lot in this race. I don't think he can beat journalism. He would have to run really big, but if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be goal oriented, and he is my second choice without a doubt. I trust him a lot more than I do Gosger in this race. Moreover, I think he'll be in a prime position. And, the Preakness last time did sort of point one thing out about journalism, is that lingering in the back sometimes can bite you unless you're a really special horse like journalism. Now, he had to overcome a pretty reckless ride, let's say, by Umberto Rispoli. I think I mentioned in the replay analysis, it reminded me of what they used to say about Ronnie Turcotte. He's a really good jockey, but he can put a good horse in a bad position. And that's what he did with journalism in the Preakness. We know that. But for the fact that journalism is a really special horse, he probably doesn't win that race. And it goes to Gosger, and we're talking about the Haskell in a whole different complexion. But he did win the race. And he's my pick to win the race here. Why? He hasn't done anything wrong. He's a monster. I mean, listen, I've said this time and again on the Triple Crown Trail. After the Kentucky Derby, I thought it made it abundantly clear. There are 3 horses in the 3-year-old division who tower over the rest. It's Sovereignty, Journalism, and Baeza. Those 3, and then there's everybody else. So how can you go against journalism here? I don't see any interruption in the training, any problems there. He's proven that he can run consistently. I mean, he's only had about a month off. Big deal. He's a beast, and he's going to win this race. But for anything, if a Reese puts him in a lousy place again, well, maybe he won't. But on talent alone, he is just better than everybody else in here. Gosger, to put it, to clarify this, to put a perspective on it, Gosger ran a monster race in the Preakness, and how many lengths was he ahead of the rest of the field? And journalism got held up with a reckless ride in the stretch, and he still beat Gosger. That should tell you a lot. And barring a miracle, that's what's going to happen here. He's too good to go against, and 4-5 is generous, in my opinion. I'm journalism all the way in this race. Now we come to the horse, Burnham Square. I love this horse. I've always liked this horse. I've made no bones about it. I really like him. I don't like the way they have ridden this horse. I didn't like it in the Kentucky Derby. I didn't like it in the Fountain of Youth. It worked in the Holy Bull, but there were circumstances that allowed it to work. I thought the Matt Winn was actually the way they should be riding this horse. Now, he was no match for East Avenue. I mean, he basically, he had the rail, he had saved all the ground, and he couldn't get to East Avenue. Now, it was a 4-horse field. Generally, horses who get on the front are awful tough to beat in those type of situations. I think East Avenue is better than perhaps we had thought he was. I didn't like him in the Derby. I wasn't surprised he ran a good Bluegrass Stakes. He's a pretty good horse, but and Burnham Square coming off the Derby, generally, those are horses you want to try to beat when they come out of that race. Burnham Square certainly did more running than East Avenue did in that race, but and he ran an okay second. He was gaining slowly. And certainly if it had been 1.25 miles, he probably would have won. Well, it wasn't. And it isn't here. The problem to me with Burnham Square, if Brian Hernandez does what he has been doing with this horse, we know he's going to try to find the rail. Okay, that's fine. But, if you're going to hang back and sort of track journalism and wait for him to go, you're going to lose. Because you don't, Burnham Square is a nice horse, and I didn't, the Matt Winn showed that he's, I thought it was a good effort post Derby, and I think he showed his quality in that respect. And can he take another step forward here? Yeah, he can. But I just don't think he's as good as journalism. And if he does try to track him, then he may find himself a little short. If he gets a good trip, which he can. He'll save all the ground. Look what he did to Matt Wood. He saved all the ground that entire race, and he still couldn't win. And now you're going against a monster. So I like Burnham Square. I really like this horse. I do. I think he's a hard trier. He brings it every time. I think they're going to have him more forwardly placed. But I wonder, in the Matt Winn, in so doing, demonstrated something that you see quite often with horses who run from, let's say, mid-pack, and then they put them a little more forwardly placed, and it tends to sap a little bit of that extra kick. And so I haven't quite decided yet whether that's what happened with Burnham Square or not. But I think he's in form. I think he will run his race. And whether it's good enough or not, I'm not so sure. But I think he's definitely one that you want to put in the mix. But it's journalism in the Haskell. So let's take a look at our wagering strategy. We're going to use goal-oriented for the win bet, for the value. 4-1, I don't know if we'll get that. But to me, he's a very solid second choice. I like his prospects, given his running style, given his progression. as opposed to Gosger, who I think maybe is going to regress. So to me, it would be journalism and goal oriented, and we'll use that as straight exacta. Then we're going to put one with Burnham Square in journalism, 2-4, and then we'll throw one in with Gosger, 2-6. We'll do a trifecta with 2, with 4-6-8, with 4-6-8. If you want to throw another trifecta in there with 2 on top, with 4 and 8, and then Kentucky Outlaw and National Law in there, I don't blame you. That I to be honest, in retrospect, that's what I will do at post time, because I have a feeling Gosger may be a little short in the stretch there, and then then maybe putting the price underneath makes more sense. But for the superfecta, 2 with 4-6-8, 4-6-8, 4-6-8, and then finally 2 with 4-6-8, 4-6-8 with all. As an alternative, 2 with 4-6 with National Law, and the one I just mentioned. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but you put those two with all, and that's a good superfecta as well. So I think you can comfortably, I would like to think that a lot of times you can't see 3-year-olds who do progress as the year gets on, but if we think about it, we've only seen, has there been enough time really for Gosger or Burnham Square or goal oriented to progress past journalism? I don't know. I probably not. So until proven otherwise, the best top three 3-year-olds are journalism, sovereignty, and Baeza, and then there's everybody else. So we will play that accordingly in the Haskell. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. I wish you the best of luck as always, and certainly if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks to all of you who continue to grow our community. Excuse me. We're going to have our daily stakes play coverage with Saratoga, and I haven't decided yet whether to do the late pick 5 sequence for Saratoga or Monmouth. Saratoga's looks pretty good for Saturday, so I'm sort of leaning that way. If you guys want me to do Monmouth, let me know, and I will throw that in there. But otherwise, you have this individual post, and then we'll do it for Saratoga on Saturday. We'll continue on with our daily stakes plays. We got Del Mar opening this weekend, and so we're going to try, time permitting, to get something done for Del Mar. But we will pay attention to that meet more so than perhaps we have in the past. I really like it. Del Mar's a great track, and someday I'll get out there. But and speaking of that, maybe at the Haskell this weekend. And if so, you do see me, please stop by and say hello. And again, as always, I'll buy you a beer and a cigar, and we can talk horse racing. Love to do it. So if you do see me, be my first foray to the Jersey Shore. And I think, weather permitting, it should be a lot of fun. So hopefully I'll see you there if, in fact, I do go. So I'm done rambling. That's it for here. From here, I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.